Welcome everyone. The topic for the day is transport safety, hazard control, and risk analysis. So everything with respect to the transportations and the risk that is there on your way to your home or a way to your office that comes around it. It's the road that we're talking about. This is what we're looking into it and why the accidents occurs and what precautions take so look, there are various modes of transport. One is on a four-wheeler and the other one is on a two-wheelers that comes around it. I am specifically discussing the private vehicles transport or the private transport that goes around it. Regarding to the public transport, probably accident occurs, but that is beyond the purview of this particular. So let us understand. We will be talking anything and everything about people and the road risk. What increases the fact that there are chances of accident, and how can we mitigate those risks altogether? Please understand, this is what we need to look into it. Not everybody has the same IQ when we are moving onto the roads on a public passage. We have to take apprehend everybody's IQ so that we remain safe and we let the other person people safe and help them in reaching their destination in a sound fashion. So we need to understand the different peoples, the different road risk, the causes of the increased risk, and how we can mitigate those. Absolutely. So, what are the aims of this thing? We will talk about the current situation for the drivers and the riders. We will also have a better understanding of what exactly is happening. Why is it happening in the first place? This is what we are looking into it. We will talk about the evidence-based, up-to-date literature that comes around it. We will speak about the recommendation that needs to be taken with a good example. Absolutely, that comes around, which is a must thing in today's world. We will talk about the question that needs to be answered. What are the various questions that comes in your mind? I will say, who is at risk? Believe me or not, you might be involved in the accident and be at the receiving end for no fault of yours. So everybody is at risk. Despite you being working properly, traveling safely, things might go and doldrums might go against you. Where and when is the risk is highest? We would like to state those things. We like to decide upon those things. What causes the higher risk, and what can be done to reduce such kind of risk is what we will discuss in the next 15. So people and road, as the case might be, if you look into it, I have already said about the private mode of transport. Probably motorcycle crash based on vehicles, what comes around it. It is what we said. It is the four-wheeler coming the other way around. So we are talking about road characteristic. In terms of curve road section, are there any road marking? Are they giving us smooth regulations or any kind of danger sign, warning signal that has been motivated? The road environment, I have classified it on the basis of timing from the midnight, or should I say early morning, from 0 a.m. to 6 a.m. is one kind of road condition. Then the most congestion part comes around from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. And from 9 a.m. we have these thing comes, probably the congestion increases over this particular time when people are getting active either in transit towards their offices, towards the workplaces, towards the places of interest in terms of schools, hospitals, and so on and so forth. These are things that needs to be understood time and again. So we have the expressway road where I have designated a speed mechanism which is 110 kilometers per hour or 70 kilometers per hour. The road characteristics that needs to be taken care of. But this is what we're looking at it. This is again which we are looking at exactly what is going to happen. So remember, in primary roads, the secondary roads is 90 kilometers per hour, but in rural location people might be flooded, and throughout the road environment it is absolutely, it might not be a two-way road, it might not be an expressway, it may not be a four-way road or something like that. So basically, there are four timings that I've already notified to you. It's absolutely the early morning from 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. So it's technically a midnight to a early morning from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. when people are moving around. And then there's a congestion time which comes around from 9 a.m. absolutely till 12 p.m. There is a congestion time, and again the congestion time increases at evenings, which is 7 p.m. to 12 a.m. So that is the point that we need to go around it. In various kind of expressway, speed has to be notified. But in rural areas where there are only one single road for both of you to commute from both the ways, that has been shown around here. See, in both a single road that people are commuting from one direction, the other people are commuting from other direction, and things can out of your hand. So you need to understand what are the reasons behind risk. First and the foremost thing, people get, see, look at these particular photographs that have all got it to you. People get into adventure mode while traveling on road. God knows why, but this is a fact, and it is across the globe. It becomes more prone if you are younger in age, if you are male in gender, what is your biological constituents, how, what is the culture that you have been brought up into it. But these factors does help in age, gender, biology. Another thing that comes around is your lack of driving or riding experiences. Definitely, yes, you might be a good rider, one, but the road in which you are driving might actually be a new to you. You are not known to that places. What are the turns? How, what are the road condition? Exact road condition. So, despite being a knowledgeable driver, but not knowing the road condition becomes detrimental, and you are prone to accidents. So please understand. And if you are not even a well-trained driver, that's another out of question syllabus which comes around it as to why accident will be occurring. Everybody can answer those this point of view. So we are talking about impairments and distractions. Definitely there are billboards that might coming across, there might be other incidents that might happen on the road for which your focus on the road might slip for a certain point of time. Then we have the vehicle choice and the consideration of the safety. This is what we are looking at it. This is what we are finding solutions altogether. So vehicle choice needs to be taken up across. Look, this is a vehicle choice. Probably if it involves into an accident, I don't think the result will be very optimistic out in any fashion. So we need to have a bigger vehicle which provides bigger safety. There might be airbags that needs to be around all around it. There has to be a belt, seat belt that needs to be worn by the driver and the passenger thereby, and so on and so forth. A two-wheeler is more prone to have consequential accidents rather than a four-wheeler, as the case might say. More the mass, more the merrier as far as accidents are concerned. So age, gender, and biology, cognitive abilities. Most of the drivers often at times are involved in the age group of 15 to 20 that comes around it. This is what we are looking about. So age and gender is one of the major issues that comes around it. Then is somewhere down the corner. See, the cognitive ability or the development of your brain comes around. It is, it increases manifold, mind you, it increases manifold till the age of 11 and probably till the age of 15, but then it steadily absolutely goes around. And this is what we're looking into, the cognitive control that comes around it. So what are we doing it? It's the social emotional control, the cognitive control. The maturity age is somewhere down the corner 23 that comes around it. This is where your why do I call it maturity? Because this is where the brain control, the social emotional, the logical reasoning functions very fast. And in fact, the only thing that doesn't functions around or deteriorates is your risk taking capacity that comes around it. You become much more sensitized and starts valuing your life altogether. So hormonal changes takes places, and there might lead to a change in the attitude altogether. So social changes, what does it occur? Need to move around, drink, probably people are experiencing drugs, friends, peer pressure, and so on and so forth. These are things that needs to be discussed time and again. Absolutely time go across it. So we'll talk about the lack of experiences. I said the basic knowledge of the vehicle. At times, people are utilizing vehicle which is new to them. Forget the roads being new, location being new. Even the vehicle that they're applying might be new to them. When I say the vehicle is new to them, a person might be driving let's say a four wheelers, and he or she might be driving a very small four wheelers, and suddenly he or she is hell bent on driving a four wheeler, which is an SUV, which is almost a truck, almost a mini truck if you want to go around it. So the length of the vehicle will not be very comprehensive in his or her brain. So we need to understand what kind of vehicle a person is driving, what kind of experiences in terms of type of road that we are looking into it, the weather condition, the hazard perception. If it is in a new location, I am sure people should be taking much more precautions while driving. If it is a weather condition hazardous, if it is snowing, if it is raining, if it is going through a tornado, you need to take precautions thereby. So see the weather conditions. I will be giving you three wonderful photographs for you to understand. There are animals that can also venture around it. There might be on the road. This is a slippery road that comes around it. This is a serene road which comes around, and absolutely pleasure driving out in such a road. So takes time to develop the skills. This is what I wanted to say to you. This please wait on, and I'm sure going to go better, look better. So influence of age and experience in terms of crash, I have plotted an age on an x-axis and the crashes per million kilometers of driven. And if you look into it, as we mature, the accident range actually changes. Initial crash was very high, look very high. This is the color for initial crash rate, and it deteriorates, and probably after a point of time, it is unfortunately, it is very unfortunate if you are involved in a crash beyond the age of 36 or 40, if I may say so. So that is what comes around it. That means you are maturing as a driver over a period of time. By the time you reach around 40, you have actually driven 20 years of your life. So decrease in crash rate of a novice driver starting their driving career early, and the novice driver starting their driving career late is what we are looking into it, as in the study part of it is concerned. So this is what is very important for you to understand. And so let us talk about the different kind of distraction, the impairment that comes around it. First and the foremost is your drug abuse and probably your alcohol level. So things on the road of all ages get, well, the problems are more or less common now. We have an alcohol limit exposure. Beyond a limit, you have consumer alcohol, and in when you are driving, when you are already in a little bit of a nauseating effect, you are not in your proper senses. There is a sense of lower tolerance, and probably you will not be taking the right decision on the road. On the road, remember, you have to be always be on your toes, be active. So impairments are alcohol, impairment of fatigue, impairments are drug. What are distraction? I have said your co-passengers, your friends, your billboards, your mobile, your tablets, your satellite navigation. This is satellite navigation that comes around it. Everything goes around it. Now you are moving to a new places, and you are watching on your dashboard as to which the road will be going around, and then turning. So probably if you're turning, and this get you miss the oncoming vehicle, you miss the oncoming turn, and whatever it might be, it might lead to consequences. So vehicle choice, another question which needs to be answered time and again, as to what kind of vehicle are you driving. Are you used to driving such a vehicle? See, there are two things. We are having. I've got a pick of a SUV. I have got a pick of a small car that has been there. It's basically the regular car vis-a-vis a SUV. One might be a four-wheel drive. Absolutely, the other might not be a four-wheel drive. So you need to understand the safety features, the technology that has been built in around there. There are costs to learning to drive and ride. We will be talking about those costs. What are the requirements that comes around that helps us to mitigate the accidents? So choosing to drive safely or not is one of the most important things. So we need to understand the vehicle choice, types of vehicle, the safety features, the cost of learning, and safely. Now we come to the fourth point, is how to mitigate stress. First and the foremost thing is to have a general measures. I have given it to you. See the learning which will tell it to you in which all side that comes around it, types of vehicle, how protective that it goes around it, types of markings which is says it's an L, and the driver is a novice. There is a speed gum. This gentleman, the police or the traffic police officer is actually aiming so that people are within the speed limit. So general safety measures is one of them. The training and education is other, the licensing and testing, and the safety vehicles and telematics, something which I have shown it on the pics. So absolutely, the training is must. The novice driver, the enforcing authority, the safety regulation, or the vehicle being subject to certain crash testing or something like that. Let us understand what is meant by general safety. First and foremost thing, it benefits everyone. It means people should be driving within an alcohol limit, within a speed limit, within the seat belt laws. For people, strict demerit points absolutely not must is an alcohol thing that's been mentioned around it. You cannot do any texting while you are driving. So lower alcohol limit, strict demerit point system, alternative modes of transport, the public transport I'm talking around it, good information campaign targeting the people, because at the end of the day it's your life and you just cannot play with your life once miss. If unfortunately you miss your life, you probably end your life for once and for all. Should not be having. So the most important should be there on your training and education or during the license processing that comes around it. So we have to have a formal training. Look what we are giving out here, the examples, which is actual training being done in the places, and there is something called a simulation or um, absolutely the signage that needs to be done in a classroom environment. So post license training, education training, formal and informal. People, to encourage them about road safety in schools. These children are the most impressionable mind, and we should impress upon them as far as the road safety is concerned. Make sure that the formal training is more than just basic skills. Basic skills, especially for the riders as such. They should know about how to read a signage. They should be encouraged to do more about informal training, have a group among them, and consider post license training in some. So let us understand how the licensing process should be actually be done. So we should have a theory test which tells me all about the signages, all about the situation that comes around it, all about the vehicle type that comes around it, and then the practical test which actually entails a person driving a car. So for people, what is the age? Now this changes altogether. Minimum driving age is 18, which I have said it to you out in this thing. But probably the supervised driving age should be 70. So we need to understand what is the minimum driving age, what is the supervised driving age. So these needs to be done there and done that, and depends from country to country altogether. The hazard perception testing should be done. The test content, the length, the concentration, everything should be altogether. We come to the fact end of the presentation, which the safe vehicle and telematics needs to be considered. We are talking about the safety technologies. Now we have the proximity teller or alarm system that comes around. The car will actually tell the driver if some objects are within the proximity of the car. Encourages people for safer vehicles. Encourage vehicle people for safer technologies. Telematic insurance is available always. The first hand, the second hand, the third hand insurance that needs to go around. The cars of the future, is this all a waste of time? Because the cars of the future will be driverless altogether. The cars of the future will take decision, will do the parking on its own all the way. So we are talking, look, I have given you an example where every nobody is driving or manning the vehicle altogether, and everybody is with their play. In fact, they are playing board games altogether. If you look into it, there are four individual, one, two, 3 and 4. So they are all playing, and at the same time the artificial intelligence is driving the car or driving these people to their destination altogether. So this I come to an end of this presentation. Thank you for watching this video.